Good day, folks. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm Kat.
And I'm Brian, and welcome to Life Chat with Brian and Kat. So today we're going to talk about basically being 1% better each day and kind of go through some of our stories and what we've done, how we've been going about doing that, and probably still some of our challenges today.
Absolutely. Kind of made ourselves some notes, just so we can make sure we kind of keep on track. But I guess we can start with maybe some of our wins that we've had so far this week.
Wins this week. I think basically just being able to be, I guess to be more scheduled on our daily task. Obviously being full-time RVers and stuff, especially right now, our days are kind of our own days to schedule and process and do however we want. But also too with that, what's easy to do is easy not to do.
Yes, very.
How about you?
Um, some of my wins, I wanted to get another book off to my illustrator. I write children's books too. And I did. So I had that set in my mind. We've got
That's what
three
book?
of them.
Book
three.
Nice.
So hopefully in the next couple months we'll have three to put out there on the market, and just really kind of cool children's books based on, mindset for even children. You can't ever be too young to really start either implementing it or kind of guiding, and that means parents to children, guiding your kiddos on a positive mindset. And that just ultimately kind of comes back around. If you have that, that brings you to, that our topic today being 1% better each day. That's a positive mindset. It's like each day, just commit to yourself that somehow, some way, you're going to be intentionally 1% better than you were the day before.
Oh, absolutely. And we go back to that, as far as our wins for this week. And it's just as important to celebrate the wins, and also too important to celebrate the challenges, because when you get those challenges that come across, there's some learnings in there from those that once again help drive you to be that much better each day. The week's challenge for me is you know is still battling with technology. That cell phone, I'm telling you, it's a godsend and a curse at the same time. Yeah. Because it is so easy, so easy to get into that scroll hole. Oh, and I'm doing things for research. It's so that's probably been one of my biggest challenges still yet, that I'm still working on trying to control a lot of that.
And I think too, just trying to get into creating habits, good habits, routine habits. I think our biggest thing was, my resolution, if you want to call it a resolution, but a few months ago was like I had to get my health back in order. And part of that was also implementing a daily exercise program. Well, we can walk, and sometimes we do pickleball, and sometimes it's raining. So always make excuses.
We do pickleball chase. We're not pickleball players yet.
Or you always, have a reason for this, a reason for that, but unfortunately can't take reasons to the bank. So that's where I try to strive to get better at getting my routine consistent.
Well, yeah, and that's routine is the optimum word there. And it's not one of those deals you can sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna schedule this, and and try to get all of those done in the day. Especially if it's all new habits. If it's new habit, it's going to be very difficult. You just keep trying at it. You might have it scheduled for all week, but if you hit 50% in the first few weeks, that's getting better.
True.
So if you go from something that you're doing 0% on, and then you're going to something else, now you're getting 50% better on, and that's not 1% better, that's 50% better. So those are the things that we're talking about when we're talking about wins and incremental changes and stuff that it takes to get, to take back your mindset.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, I mean, I got 54 years of some habits that, that's a challenge to break.
Yeah. Not only personal, but societal habits.
Well, 100%. I go back to the cell phone. I mean, that thing, is always right here. And I think eventually people in time are going to just evolve, and where we're just naturally,
hunched over.
Yeah, crooked necks and that
kind of
looking
like a.
But also too, going back to the cell phone, one of the biggest things that I have really done and has really, really helped me sleep better
Mhm.
is getting technology out of the bedroom. Because there for a while, I had a habit of bringing that cell phone. Next thing you know, I end up in a TikTok scroll hole, and 2 hours later, it's two
Mhm.
o'clock in the morning, and now I'm trying to get some sleep. So
Right.
that's been the biggest challenge for
Well,
me
or
on
you
that.
hear the ding, or even if you have it silenced, it still vibrates, it still lights up,
Yeah,
and so both of us have done that. So that's something that's a win.
yeah.
We've really been consistent on getting the phone, at least for the last couple of weeks, out of the bedroom.
And I can tell you by just doing that one thing, man, it has increased my sleep, improved my sleep so much better.
Well, when you live in a 35-foot motorhome, it's not like
It
it's
doesn't
too
take much,
far away.
and it doesn't take much noise to wake you up. No,
That's right. So
no, you can hear
that's the
everything.
biggest thing. And again, daily routine. I also wanted, as little as it may seem, I wanted to make sure that every morning when we got up, that the bed's made,
Yeah.
and that every evening, or sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes the dishes don't get done after we eat, and that's fine. But I definitely want it by the next morning. I want dishes put away, those kind of things. So I've been at least trying to keep it very zen in
Yeah.
here, because clutter. I said again, we live in a 35-foot Class A motorhome, and so I have my office space. He has his office space, but it's among. Obviously, we can't go to a separate whole room,
No.
because it's just one gigantic room. But anyway, so that, trying to get that day and evening, we do try to, um, at least think about things we should do for exercise.
Well, I mean, we start
Besides,
out, we're
we have
working,
good
we're
intentions.
still working on implementing a good,
Ah, Lord.
we've got a morning routine. What our challenge has been is just getting it to be consistent, and
It's
as with
huge.
anything, when you do something new, it takes time. A morning routine where we get up in the morning, and as we discussed
Excuse
in
me.
some of our previous, episodes, where we take that time to think of three things that we're grateful for,
Mhm.
and really bathe in the sounds and the feelings and all of the emotions that go along with that makes you feel, just to kind of help get your day going good. Um, I've never been one of those people that could wake up and within a couple of minutes I'm headed off to work. I gotta have my routine in the morning to kind of get woke up with my coffee and that kind of thing. Um, and exercise is one of those that we're fitting in, but we're still trying to find that sweet spot for it where we can be consistent with it. That's probably still one of our big challenges that we face
Well, we
there.
keep coming to the excuses as to why we can't do it at this moment, and
Well, it's one of those
but
deals.
again, we're working on it. That's whole part of this. We tell you these kind of things because this is how we are on. For us, we're trying to get 1% better every day, and it can be just you've made your bed. You're consistently making your bed. That's
And
okay.
that's a win. I mean,
That's a big
seriously,
win,
it's
people.
that's
Yeah,
just how those things go.
yeah.
But anyway, so what are some of the key moments in your life where you felt like you needed to be resilient?
Oh gosh. You know, I would say that your mind probably goes back to my childhood. I had a lot of moments where I had to be resilient, just because of the upbringing, and I really won't go into a lot of detail about that. Um, but I would say, being a young mom, that was probably the very first time that I realized that, hey, I've got this. I mean, I'm 17, barely 18 when I give birth to our first kiddo, and um, I had a year of high school left, and you're in a small town. You got people talking about you.
They know
Um,
your business
they
before you do.
know your business before you know your business. And so for me, I had some resiliency. I had some grit just from my upbringing. And so, that I am incredibly grateful. When you talk about kind of how you were brought up, I obviously gained a lot of resiliency. And so that was really my first moment. And then I've had other things along the way, dealt
Yeah.
with cancer and, just various things like that. But it's, yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest kind of out of the gate was being a
Yeah, and
young mom.
I think for me, obviously, like you said, there's been multiple times through the course of my life that I've had to become resilient on certain things. And this is even really before we even knew that, resilience mindsets and those kinds of things even really
Yeah.
had a term to them. So this is something that we've kind of naturally done all along. And I would have to say probably one of the first big challenges that we've faced, even through my childhood, and even with being married and stuff young, though those are challenging times. I think whenever you were diagnosed with cancer, that was a big one, because that was a moment that, okay, I knew for me that I had to step up and be even more.
Bella,
Uh,
sorry. A
I-
bulldog.
yeah.
I'm gonna go get her real quick.
But something where I knew I had to be even more than just a dad with kids. I had to kind of take over a lot more of the roles, so that I could allow Kat that opportunity in that time to basically be able to do what she needs to do to focus on herself. So that was probably one of the big first true key moments for me, having to go through and fight that resiliency, because like I said, I mean, we had to go through a lot of doctor's appointments, and she had a lot of things there that she needed to do.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, I don't know if you mentioned that, but when we were young. This was late 20s.
Yeah.
I was 28 when I was diagnosed, and our kids. We have 3 grown sons, but at the time they were ranging from, I don't know, 10 down to young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I became Mr. Mom.
Yeah, he did a fabulous job. It did, and he was just, he was there for me when I needed him the most, and stepped up the most, and has always been there. So that's a beautiful thing. But so that's kind of, I would say those are probably some pretty
Key moments.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
So what have you learned so far over the last 2 years? Mind power or not, just in the last 2 years since we've basically been full-time RVing.
Probably the biggest thing, and I kind of knew this going into it, because I am a perfectionist and I'm a planner, and I need everything. It has to be this way. And I knew, because when we started thinking, even we were going to go down this road with full-time RVing, and kind of mentoring people on the road and those kind of things, it was like, well, I'm going to have to be flexible. And it took me a while. That was an adjustment period. I would say I probably, maybe within the last maybe 6 or 7 months, have really kind of felt like I've gotten a little bit more relaxed, not as crazy about what's the plan, what are we going to do. It's kind of really, I play this game called scenarios. Like, oh, okay, so I guess that's how I plan now. I play scenarios. Like, well, if we did this, or we, if we moved here, these are the things that we could explore while we're here. We could, I don't know. So I would say that I feel like that I'm getting a grasp on the idea of being patient, being flexible, and just living in the moment.
Yeah.
That's probably what I get from the last couple of years.
For me, these last 2 years, it's really been the freedom. It's really been the freedom to kind of, I guess you could say, rediscover myself. Go through, experience a lot of different things, travel and see a lot of different scenery that I've not done. I know that when we were growing up, we did a lot of traveling and stuff as well. So I got to see a lot of neat things there. Mm-hmm. But just having that opportunity to go and see, see things like that. And then, because we are traveling, usually my brother and my mom and dad, they'll come and visit, and
our kids, grandkids.
So it's been pretty awesome having that ability to, be able to expose them to some things that we didn't get a chance to do as much as we did when we were younger. So that and the flexibility, that's one of her biggest challenges, but we've vastly.
It is. I call it, I've got some co-workers and things that they always laugh, but my famous words are just pivot. I mean, and I feel like that you really have to do that. And I more so say that out loud I have said it to myself, but really out loud, because I'm saying that to myself. I have to that helps me to be flexible and go, okay, I just got to pivot. Now I've got to rethink and figure out what I'm doing here at this moment. So,
Yeah, because it's, but also too, that freedom that comes with that is also
mhm,
too amazing. You know,
yeah.
having the ability to be some of the places that we've been, working with some of the people that we've worked with, meeting some of the people that we never would have meet, you know, had an
Oh, we would
opportunity
have
to
never
meet.
met
Yeah,
people.
and so with all of that, you know, that mindset you know, having that flexibility, being flexible,
Mhm.
um, rolling with the punches, you know, because not everything has gone perfectly smooth. But, you know, because you'll have the speed bumps and stuff that come up, and it's like,
It's
okay,
gone imperfectly smooth. How
yeah,
about that?
yeah, that's pretty good statement and
Yeah,
stuff on there. So,
imperfectly smooth.
so what made you decide to focus so much on mind power? What are you getting from it, and why is it so important to you?
Well, I think because we've spent really the last few years kind of going through mind power and trying to understand. I think for me, I had a lot of chaos going on upstairs,
Yeah,
and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't compartmentalize it. Again, I'm going to go back to the perfect because I had to make sure everything was in check. Um, and I started realizing it wasn't. And it wasn't until I actually went through the Mind Power Breakthrough,
with
and
Steph,
with
with
Stephen
Steph and Shay,
Shea, yeah,
who's our mentors.
yeah, and who basically have trademarked this whole entire program. Um, it's it wasn't until I went through that I started making connections to, um, you know, the way I was felt as a child, where I wasn't heard, the way I even felt as an adult. In many places in my career, I felt not heard. I was a number. Um, what I had to say was not, yeah, they're just going to kind of
Wasn't
pass you
relevant.
over, wasn't relevant. And so all that did is I moved from position to position in my life, and trying to, increase my education and increase my training to be better, because I kept getting left with the feeling that I'm not, I'm not worthy. And that's a horrible place to be. And so for me, I knew deep down I wasn't, but I still had that little voice going, "You're not good enough." I always wanted to write children's books, and so that was another reason getting on the road. And so, if for me, mind power has really just helped me dig deep and to let the crabs be what they may, and um, because there's crabs out there that are trying to pull you down, and I needed to do this for me and to see that this is all coming forward.
Yeah.
That's where it's great.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you know, what you're talking about and what you're really describing is one of the things that the term, it's been termed, you know, like running parachutes.
Yeah.
You know, these are things that, you know, from childhood to young adulthood to, you know, even as soon as yesterday, you know, these are all things that are, you know, that you take on as the way you feel people, you know, feel about you.
Hmm.
You know, we term those as running parachutes. So it's something that, you know, is always holding you back, you know. And
You're
you know,
angry
yeah,
about.
and to kind of describe the running parachutes for those who may not know what those are, you know, athletes and stuff who are runners or sprinters, they'll be running and they'll have a parachute behind them. Well, the idea is it holds them back, but once they release that parachute, then they take off and they're quicker, faster, and that kind of thing. So much like that, we have the same things that will tag onto us
Mentally.
mentally and kind of hold us back. You know,
Mhm.
the lack of self confidence. You know, you have anger issues, you have, you know, fear, you have, you know, multiple different things. And that's one of the things that we've gone through and learned and help be able to help guide people through is one, figure out what the running parachutes are and how to go through and release those.
Mhm.
Um,
So what would you say yours?
Mine would probably be lack of self confidence, not
Yeah.
believing in myself, not feeling like I'm good enough. Those are some of the things that we've gone
Yeah.
through and discovered for me. And you know, it's just I don't know. It's one of those things where for me, most of my life, I always felt like I was made for more. I was There was more to life than what we had been doing.
Mhm.
Um, Now, I wouldn't trade anything that we've done with our boys and things like that. You
How
know,
we
that's
raised
that,
them,
yeah,
anything
all
like
of
that.
that. But it was one of those things I always felt like I was made for more. I was made for more, and I couldn't figure out why and what was holding me back. Well, going through, we kind of discovered those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
All right.
But also too, why do you feel like it was important to you to kind of figure out what these things are and what's happened to you since you've gone through and released those?
Okay. So I think that for me, I just knew I had to do this because I was, not that I think I'm 54, and not that I think that 54 is old. Um, but I also too knew that if we didn't get this figured out now, I probably never would, because I guess for me, if we go back to this whole perfectionism, I feel like that everything has aligned perfectly for us to be at this moment, at this time, being full-time RVers, having the freedom of travel, being able to go and be among other people, and bring some of our knowledge and our wisdom and our guidance, and mind power to other people that may be searching
Right.
for kind of the same thing that we have been searching for a long time. And so, that I feel good that we can offer that. For me, since kind of going down this journey, I listen to my gut more.
Yep.
And if my gut and my health is saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing at this time, I think a lot of people have a tendency to go, oh, they can't surely mean that, because I'm leaving a safety net that I know, and I'm being pushed to go do something that's unknown. And so to work through all of that has been amazing.
Go back to your trust in your gut and those kinds of things. I think that's why
Huge.
I think it's it is important to trust your gut, but in the same aspect, before we've gone through and done some of the mind power training and stuff that we've gone through and done. I don't know that we could have fully trusted our gut, because our you think about it, if we had all these running
Our
parachutes
gut
there,
was corrupt. So anyway.
oh, good Lord. But yes, so that's where going through and having, doing the mindset power training, doing the running parachute release, you can trust yourself more, because
Mhm.
you know how to focus and say, okay, is this in alignment with my goals and my passion and all of those things? Is this, and you really can help expedite your decisions that you're making,
Yeah.
and you can come across with a better decision. But I'll be honest, to be honest with you, I really wished I'd had this 30 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine where we'd be 30 years ago?
Well, and with now mental health being so, I mean, COVID did a number on our mental health. Either it's always been this way, or it's being exposed, or it's just worse, or it's all of the above. I don't know, but I was a teacher before, getting on the road. And so I saw it. I saw it at all levels in education. These kids are hurting, and we're going to have to figure out a way to help them have some coping skills. And that's kind of what this mind power is as well, is just kind of coming in and saying, guys, you can work through these.
Yeah.
And we've got techniques and tips that can help.
Well, and it's just having the tools, because what's beautiful about it is whenever you go through our program and stuff, we literally teach you the tools to be able to work yourself through these things. So it's not just oh, hey, we're going to be here along with you forever. No, we literally go through and
provide you the tools.
Provide you with those tools that you
Yeah.
need, basically, in order to, to find the things that not are important to me, not important to Kat, but what's important to you specifically,
and what you want to be successful
and what you
in.
want to be your goals. That
Mhm.
I mean, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. And I guess why we've been so passionate about it, especially over the course of this last year. Now, our mind power journey, as you can tell from our conversation earlier, has been ongoing most all of our life.
Right.
But here in the course of these last 2 years, last 4, and then the last year, going through and doing all the training that we've done, that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to help people with that. And I really, truly feel that this has been our calling, because naturally people always come to us,
Yep.
looking for answers, or, or wanting help, wanting assistance. And now I feel more empowered to be able to help people. And if I can help somebody go through less of what I did through the course of my life, man, why would you not want to do that?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
and that's what it's all about. So you want to talk about the challenge?
Yeah. So we always want to make sure that we kind of put a challenge out to you guys on each of our episodes. I'm not going to say it's going to be every, but I think we've got a good challenge today. So basically, we want you to think of something that you want to get better at or start implementing in your day. Start implementing it one step at a time, and leave a message in our comments and let us know what that is. Maybe what kind of improvement do you want,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that we can support you in that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's, if you pick one thing, just
One
start with
thing.
one and say, okay, I want to do this, and basically kind of pick a time and what it is you want to do. Put that in the comment, because we want to support you in that.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, it's if and it's just, you think about it, you get 1% better each day, and you do that for a year, you're 365% better.
I mean, 1% isn't really that much. Think about it. So, closing comments before we get out of here.
No, I just basically want to encourage people to take a step. I know this year alone, 2024, is going to be crazy. And it's going to be crazy because you've got, obviously it's an election year here in the United States. You've also too got just mass chaos. You've got a lot of things going on with the news, that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of negativity,
a lot of divisiveness.
a lot of negativity in the world right at this moment, and more so probably this year than any other. And I really encourage people to protect your mindset and protect your minds.
Stay focused on what you want.
Yeah.
And if it's to watch garbage in, garbage out TV and news and everything all day, then you have to understand that you're not going to be a real productive human being, unfortunately.
Well, you see, you just got to protect your mind like an 8-year-old. If you wouldn't expose your 8-year-old kid to that, then it's probably not going to be a good enough thing for you.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so kind of in closing, we'll kind of wrap it up. I want to kind of keep these somewhat short and sweet, but yet, want to try to get our message and stuff out. Obviously, we invite you guys to follow us on all of our social media, or if you'd like to schedule a free consultation with us, so that we can see how we can help you guys get even more better, even more better. Help you guys get 1% better each day. Obviously reach out to us at Brian, leave us a message on here, or even you can, email us at brianandkatpierce.com, and follow us on all of our social media outlets there.
Yeah. And so do you just want to thank everyone for joining us, and, just keep those vibes high and that mountain power higher, and keep that 1% every day. Just keep going and give that 1% every single day. And
appreciate all y'all for following us all the way through, and bearing with us in our journey as we're learning, as right along with you guys.
Yeah.
So stay magical, folks.
Bye.